I want Ranger fans to see this.
Was on the ice at MSG waving bye-bye to three-time Stanley Cup champion Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin. This guy has no respect, and I got no respect for the New York Rangers. Their power play is going to dry up like a, I'm not even going to say the words. It's just going to really, really dry up. And we got a bunch of boys for the We're going tonight. I gotta go back with the Fuck your Rangers! Fuck your Rangers! Fuck your Rangers! And we just needed Stu energy, and that's all we needed. Plus 125, keep the change. Woo! To you and all you Rangers fans, let's go backwards!
All I have to say is that this guy is a piece of shit. I want all the Ranger fans to understand what this piece of shit just said. First of all, he doesn't have any of his facts right. Second of all, I'm all fired up right now.
Go get him!
This guy is a fucking pussy, okay? He's a piece of shit. He looked at Henrik Lundqvist last week while he was doing a broadcast with him. If he could have licked his fucking shoes, he probably should have, for one. He just called every Ranger and every Ranger fan a faguzzi. You know what that means? Does anybody know what faguzzi means? I'm going to tell you. It means he called you a fucking faggot. That's what he called you. That's what Bissonnette just called you, all the Rangers and all the Ranger fans. He called you a faguzzi. I'll play it for you again. I'm going to put it on the page. I'm going to find a way. You need to write this piece of shit and tell him that you're coming for him. I'd love to kick his ass Brooklyn style because a baseball bat wouldn't be good enough.
Oh, my boy Paulie, yeah.
Call me a faguzzi?
Well, listen, I get what he's trying to do, make a name for himself, but he's making a complete jerk of himself with his New York Ranger bashing. That's not the first thing he's done. What's his name again? Paul Pissonetti or Bissonetti or Bisonhead? I call him Bisonhead. Stick a couple of horns in, it looks like he ran into a wall. But
piss and shitniks.
He's got the nerve to do all this shit here on his little show and all his little spitting giblets or whatever it's called, and then he goes on TV, TNT and all this stuff, and he's the good choir boy and all that stuff there, trying to be an expert. And I'm thinking to myself, what are you doing on that group on the panel? Those guys, majority of those guys were superstars, and you're not. But you guy's a jackass. Let's call it what it is. I got no love for the guy. He's already proven. One thing you don't do, okay, here's the one thing I don't do, okay? Yeah, I may rip a player from an organization, and I may hate a player like I do with Alex Ovechkin, and that's never going to change. But have you ever heard me once rip the Washington Capitol fans? I wouldn't do that to the fans. For this guy to step out and start mocking the New York Ranger organization and their fans,
yep,
fuck him.
Yep. And all I have to say is he got this hard on for Shesterkin. He doesn't have his facts right. But guess what, Shittin' Eddie? Because that's what I'm going to call you, Shittin' Eddie. Because you don't even deserve the name Paul, you fucking pussy.
Oh, that's right. That's right. He's still your name.
but besides that, Shesterkin has more fucking playoff points than you piece of shit. So peace the fuck out. Shut your fucking mouth before you get Brooklyn, you piece of shit.
Love it. That's awesome. Shesterkin, 2 points in the playoffs. Pissonetti, big goose egg.
0. I don't even think he played.
Even I got a few points in the playoffs. You know what I mean? So you can't use that against me. I even got a goal.
Shit and sticklets, you piece of shit. You know what really bothers me more than anything? He's on a panel with Henrik Lundqvist, and I got to tell you, Henrik's probably wearing a $25,000 suit. He is dressed to the nines, baby.
All class.
Oh, my God. He's such a class act. And I watched him because I knew everything. I know the stuff that he talks about the Rangers organization, the stuff he talks about the fans. Here is a class act New York Ranger, lifetime New York Ranger, just got put in the rafters at MSG. Like, you couldn't even lick his shoes to shine them, you piece of shit. That's all I got to say. I'm so done. I gave this guy 30 seconds more than he fucking deserved.
Yeah, I agree.
You're a piece of shit, and I dare you to approach us. I dare you to come on the program. I dare you to email me, text me, whatever. Find me on social media. But the Ranger fans are coming after you, and I'm going to make sure of it. Done.
Love it, big boy. Love it.
Done.
Well, my choice of drink tonight is JD again after that wonderful win in Game 7 by the New York Rangers that I did a little research on, Paulie. I went and checked all the preseason prognosticators, all the experts and all that stuff. Did you know that 90% of them had the Rangers finishing 15th or 16th or 14th and out of the playoffs? Did you know that?
I didn't.
Oh.
I do now.
How's it look now? I guess it's easy to know nothing. Get a job and know nothing. I never thought that way at the beginning of the year. I thought they had a shot at making the playoffs. Now, did we honestly think they'd go this far? That was a question mark. But you know what? I'm going to say it now before we get into everything about them. This team believes in itself. That's all that matters. They don't give a shit about the outside stuff. They don't give a shit that I criticize Kreider for not playing well certain games. They don't give a shit about this. They don't give a shit about that. It stays in the dressing room, and it proves what a hockey team they are. They believe in themselves, and that is a big, big thing for the New York Rangers. But that,
you know what?
We'll get into the rest of it.
Well, you know what? I mean, I'd like to add a little bit there. I mean, you think about it, and we'll talk more. We'll get more in depth about it. But look at this piece of shit is on the panel right now.
Oh yeah.
Look at.
I'm looking at Wayne Gretzky.
Wayne Gretzky, who's a former New York Ranger as well. So none of these guys probably know the shit he talks. But anyway, because he's a coward, I bet she's not doing it with them. And to slap that kid in the video, like, what? Oh my God, dude! Please, 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 come out Brooklyn style, bro. Please, please. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I'll show you a new coho. That's a be good stick right there. Anyway, this team has really impressed with the battle and the resiliency. And you know what? There's been so many, myself included, have scratched your head and say, you know what? It's a young team. There's a lot they can do. You know, I'm glad they made it. I'm glad they got the experience. But whatever they give us, you know, I'll be happy with. And this team has showed us resiliency, down 3-1 to a hot Penguins team that came into the playoffs. Down 2-0 against Carolina, winning both those series. And just like you said, just believed in themselves and they never gave up. And the resiliency is just that's got to scare teams. That's got to scare teams because I thought, and I know a lot of fans thought that this team lost confidence in Pittsburgh. And not only did they come back, but they built a different mindset, it almost looked like. And it didn't matter what you threw at them or how you came at them or if they won and lost the game. They found a way to do it. So really cool, really cool. And it's got to be a scary team to play against now, I would imagine.
Well, I think a lot of people are still like trying to find points of how they got past Pittsburgh, especially the dummy on TV. You know what I mean? They went with a third-string goalie. Crosby was out. That's all horse shit. You know what? You play with what you got. It's not the Rangers' fault that Crosby was out for a game. It's not the Rangers' fault that your goaltending sucked and you couldn't find somebody to replace your number one goalie. Okay? It's not their fault. You were down 3 games. I know we're beating this again like we did last show, but I got to say it. You were up 3-1. You should have sent the team from Wilkes-Barre Penguins and won 1 game, shouldn't you? But you didn't. The Rangers stuffed it up your ass. So stop complaining, people, about, they beat a third-string goalie. They beat a guy in this, blah, blah. Oh, Trouba should have got suspended for hitting Crosby in the head, all that crap. Okay? Stop that crap. Now, against Carolina, let's call it what it is. Carolina was a great hockey club all year, and they were a good hockey club at home.
Right.
The Rangers did what nobody could do. They beat them in a 7th game on the road where they were undefeated for like who knows how many games. And they not only beat them, they beat their asses pretty good last night. And
buddy.
I know that, they got outshot 37 or 39 to 31 and all that, but you know what? That's the way the Rangers do it. People, if you haven't figured that out by now, they won almost 35 games this year by doing it that way. And they scored at the right time last night, which is what? Your first 2 shots on goal. Let's see, power plays. Oh, that's right. Score when it counts on a power play. What do I always say? They did it last night. Shesterkin made the saves when he had to. The guys were doing everything they possibly could to sacrifice last night to win that game. Lindgren, Goodrow, Mott. I'm talking about the guys that grind. They were blocking shots left and right out there. They were letting Shesterkin see the shots. That's the one thing everybody forgets. Shesterkin made some really good saves last night, but a lot of his saves, they cleared the lanes to let him see the puck. They did a great job last night, period. End of story. And there's no excuses here. Trouba, I gotta talk about Trouba for a second. I mean, you think about the hits that he's had. He hits Crosby, right?
Yeah.
Puts him out for a game. He hits Domi. Rangers get a power play score on that. He hits Jarvis last night with a clean crunching hit. Stop it, people talking about it should have been penalized. It's impossible to hit somebody in the chest with a shoulder without making some kind of contact with the head. Can't happen. Sorry, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Ensuing power play, Rangers score. So you got to give Trouba a lot of props, as he was just important throughout this playoff so far as any player on the team. And I will say this: the best forward throughout the playoffs has been Mr. Zibanejad.
Yep.
By far.
Yeah. He found his game in this series, I thought, for sure. I kind of was scared in the Penguins series. I think we called them all out. Him, Kreider, Panarin.
Yeah, we do. We do that because we're human and we're fans. That's what I'm saying. But the players in that room, they don't listen to that shit.
Right.
They don't listen to the newspapers. They don't listen to the media. They don't listen to guys like us on a podcast. Okay? We all are guilty of criticizing this player, that player, this time, that time, this guy, that. What did he do tonight? We're disappearing. I'm as guilty as anybody. But the good thing is, they don't care. It's all about them in that room, and they proved it last night.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a lot we got to talk about. So we'll start here. I like when we get, we jump around. But we got to start. Chris won't let me live it down, and we got to bring up the brackets because we're going to do it. We have to do it. So
it's my turn this time. Like I get to wear like the first round. I got the King Nothing crown. I was wearing it. Now you get to wear the King Nothing crown. Because listen, Paulie makes his picks on what he seriously believes are the best teams, and that you've never strayed from that. And that goes way back to our radio podcast show, radio show, whatever it was.
Yep.
I, on the other hand, when I'm a fan of a team, I will never pick against them. I don't give a how bad anybody thinks they are. I just don't do it. And when I hate a team, I will never pick them. You never seen me pick the Washington Capitals ever, did you? You know what I mean? Never.
It's true. It's true.
It's the truth. And this time around, where I caught you was I took the Rangers over Carolina. And I know it hurt you a little bit to say that the Rangers, you took Carolina over the Rangers. And that was a difference in our brackets this time. I lost the Tampa one because I'm not going to pick Tampa. I told you that from the beginning. I don't care. Wow. Good job, Florida, by the way. Just want to let you know. Great job out there. So I won this time. I had 3 out of 4.
So listen, I picked Tampa. Chris picked the Panthers. I picked the Canes. Chris picked the Rangers. I picked Colorado. Chris picked Colorado. I picked the Flames, and Chris picked Edmonton. So He did real good this round. He did 3 out of 4, and I was only I was two for 4. So
I was spotting you one with Tampa. Think about it.
yeah. Play.
I wasn't really spotting you one. I thought Florida was going to give him a, like, I mean, you were better than them all year, and all of a sudden you go to a, what they did was just a complete shit their pants. That's what they did.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't lose 4 straight. I don't care how bad you are. It's embarrassing to make a playoffs and lose 4 straight.
You're right, though. I usually try to when I go with the brackets. And
you are pure logical. I'm not.
Yeah.
I admit it. I'm wild. I don't like a team. I'm not picking you. I don't give a fuck who
Yeah,
you is.
I know that. I know that, and I admire that from you. I really do. I do. I do admire that. But when when it's on the line, I'm like, okay, well, if I was going to give you an expert opinion, this is what I think, and this is why I think that way. I'll analyze it and take a look at it.
You call it you're gambling.
Yes, exactly.
I call it to be a jackass on a podcast, and in the meantime, I'm underneath the table betting Tampa.
Oh, you're pulling Pete Rose, are you? But
hey, you know what they say: what you don't know, don't hurt you.
Yeah, exactly. But I got to tell you that to see Tampa roll through the Panthers. And there's a couple of games there that could have went the other way. I mean, Tampa won in Miami. What was it? 2 seconds left. They scored that, last second goal. It was unbelievable. That could have went. That could have went. I think that series could have been stretched out.
I think it might have changed on that one there, but that's no excuse. That's just dumb play by Florida. Okay, so Tampa took advantage of it, and then from there they just got the one big broom out and swept their ass out of Florida. Period. State of Florida. Go somewhere else and play golf.
Yeah.
That's what they did. So, Colorado, St. Louis. I think St. Louis played them hard, but Colorado's been the better team all year.
Yeah, without a doubt.
You had a little feeling about St. Louis, and at times they look good. But Colorado's just way, way better, and to me, in the end, I think like what we're seeing right now, Colorado and Edmonton, okay, on the TV right now, you're talking about probably two of the best present day players playing right now.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? You're talking Connor McDavid and McKinnon. Let's face it. I mean, Austin Matthews might be in there in the thing too, but I'd probably take these two guys over Austin Matthews right now, personally.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Connor McDavid's on a whole level by himself at times.
But so's McKinnon. I mean, they're both so explosive. And I think it's a track meet. They got 5 goals in the first period here already. Do not think you're going to see a low-scoring game with these teams.
It's a fun series to watch. If you're not a fan of one of these teams and stressing out, because I can imagine the stress watching this.
But what happened to Calgary?
Nothing is safe with these teams. No lead is safe. I got to tell you, though, before we talk about this series, I got to tell you, watching the Flames and Edmonton, that was so much fun as not a fan of either team. The explosiveness and the momentum swings were insane. I mean, the Flames probably they only played 5 games, right?
Yeah.
5 games?
I think it was 6.
I think the Flames had a lead in 3 of those games, especially early. They went up 2-0 and 3-0, and Edmonton comes back. So much fun to watch if you're not a fan of those teams.
You hit something there. I think you talked about it last week or the last time we did a show, but you also on our personal calls and talking. I don't think Markstrom was at his A game either.
Yeah, no.
He made some really, really, really great saves, but he let in a lot of questionable goals.
And that's the thing that I saw with him.
It all comes down to goaltending.
Yes, and I said the same thing. It would be like somebody be on a breakaway and he'd make a save.
Yeah.
30 seconds later, there'd be a shit shot and it'd go past them. And it'd be like, well, what happened? So I don't think Calgary got the goaltending that they really needed. And you've made this point a lot of times, and I think, we'll talk about it throughout whatever series it is. But this time of year, you got to have goaltending. Goaltending is going to win and lose you games, Now, in this series, I think even in these series,
like the important in this series too. Just make sure, as Grant Fuhr used to say, I let in one less than the other guy.
Exactly, and it's going to be that one save that should have been a goal or game save or whatever it is. It could be a 7-5 game or a 7-6 game, but it's that goalie that makes that save that keeps the tie off or whatever the case may be. And that's going to be so important in this series like it is in every other series.
Yeah, I'm going to repeat what I've said on our radio show, and I think I've done it on this show. I remember sitting in Newfoundland during a Bob Cole Celebrity Golf Tournament. Grant Fuhr and I were sitting at the bar, and I'm trying to pick his brain about goaltending, like what makes a great goaltender, why, all that stuff. And I'm waiting for some scientific answer. He just took a sip on his drink, looked back at me, and he said this, Paulie, and I just mentioned this. I got to say it again. He goes, Conti, I don't have a fucking clue. He says, all I know is I let in one less than the other motherfucker down the other end. I remember my reaction was like, you ever see that deer that lifts the one leg up and tilts its head? I tilted my head at first, and then went, oh, okay, I get it now. And you know what? Couldn't explain it better.
Yeah.
Couldn't explain it better.
Yeah. That's all it takes, man. You got to make that one extra save, right?
One less than the other guy down the other end. That's all he has to worry about, a goaltender.
Yeah. It is now 4-2, just to say Colorado early.
We're not even halfway through the game, folks. I hope you bet the over.
Yeah, Kadri just scored.
He's having a great year for those.
Yeah, he's another one. He goes from Toronto, and what a tough city to play in. He comes here, and he's really been. I tell you, he's been a little bit of a difference maker for them. He's the added goals. They're a very talented team. So Kadri's chipping in, and really playing his part there. So
I like Kadri's got that. He's got that grizzle, you know what I mean? He plays a little mean too at the same time, and yet he's really good. He's decent. He's better than average offensively. He's proved it all along, even in Toronto. Right. And listen, it's a tough place. Toronto's always a tough place to play. So is Montreal.
Yeah.
The two toughest places to play are obviously Montreal and Toronto. I'd say Montreal first and then Toronto. But Kadri's done a good job. Like I said earlier, like in one of our shows, that it was tough for him to be like one of the full, born, bred Muslims from Toronto and all that stuff. And he had to take a lot of shit throughout his junior career and, the time in Toronto. And I'm sure, he took up through the St. Louis series because he ran over Binnington,
Yeah.
But Kadri can play on my team any day. He's got that little bit of snarl. I like players that have a little snarl.
Me too.
To go with their talent.
Yep, me too. I miss the players like that. From the old school, the Pat Verbeeks and the
who should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way.
Yeah, the guys like that, man.
That's going to be one of our shows, like in the next year. We're going to talk about Hall of Fame people that are missing.
Yeah,
we have to. There's just so many that I can bring up right now, but I won't. We'll save it for next year. And there's so many that are in there should be in
there. Yeah. Well. We'll move past the brackets now. So we got obviously we got the last 4 teams. We're going to do our picks now.
Oh, it's almost. I'll let you go first. It's almost unfair now because we got Colorado winning 4-2. But
yeah, it's true.
I think we both probably would have taken Colorado, right?
Yeah, we both. Oh my God. Edmonton
That's why I'm going to take Edmonton, even though I know Colorado's probably the team that's going to win. I'm going to do it just so we have something to argue about. I'll take Edmonton.
All right.
Hang on a second. I'm texting my book. Can I have on the Avalanche, please?
I tell you, I don't know what to do right now, to be honest.
Look at this, Paul. We're supposed to be in playoff hockey here. This is the 80s all over again here with Edmonton. This is
that's one hell of a rebound he let up.
But what point it? We're not even. We have 17 minutes to go
in the second.
We got 7 goals already.
I hope you got the over.
And those who bet the under, shame on you.
Yeah, I don't see any of these games being under 7-8 goals, man. Right? Now, I see the opposite in the Rangers series with the Lightning. I don't see these big goals. I think you're going to see a lot of 3-2 games. A 2-1 game in there. I don't see. You're talking about the 2 best goaltenders in the world. So I think unless it's riddled with penalties and power plays, if it's a ton of 5-on-5, I think these goaltenders, they do their job, and I think you see 3-2 games. Now, here's what I'm afraid to do, and I don't want to talk myself into a conundrum here, but so I went against the Rangers in the last round, and they won. Right?
Don't you do it? Don't you do it now?
So I want them to win. I don't know what to do.
I'm taking the Rangers. I think they got just as good a chance as anybody beating Tampa.
I do. I feel like this is a really good matchup.
The Toronto Maple Leafs should have beat Tampa, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Tampa got some pretty opportunistic calls when they needed against the Leafs, and the Leafs are a real crappy defensive team. Rangers are a better defensive hockey club by far than the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I think they have a really, really good chance.
Right.
The only I guess negative, and people talk about, and I've always talked about it too, is somewhere along the line you have to have an easy series. Well, the Rangers haven't had one yet. Okay, hopefully they'll get by Tampa, then sweep whoever's in the West. I'm just kidding.
8 goals.
Oh my God.
8 goals.
We should have the updates on the odds, like how many goals per. Like, you know how they have it today? They update everything. Like, you can bet this now. 8 goals, and we played 25 minutes of hockey.
I know.
That's it.
Was that Leon Draisaitl got stoned?
What's that?
I think it was Leon Draisaitl that guy got stoned. He was he had a semi-break, and then Avs came back and scored here. I didn't see the player's number. I thought it was Draisaitl. What does Draisaitl wear? 44?
No, he's something different. I don't know. But this is crazy. 8 goals and like whatever. These guys need a restart. Getting back to the Rangers, Paulie. Like I really believe that they are good enough to beat Tampa if they play at their best. Obviously, Shesterkin's got to be what he's been so far. The last from the 5th game on against Pittsburgh, he's been outstanding for the New York Rangers.
Mm-hmm.
I respect Tampa as much as I don't want them to win. I respect them. They're the Stanley Cup champs, defending twice under question mark seasons. I'll still remind people of that, but they still did it. And Vasilevsky is still sitting on that king's throne. But there's a guy standing next to that throne waiting to take him off it, and that's Igor Shesterkin.
Right.
And I think the Rangers, like I said earlier in my little rant about them, they believe in themselves no matter what the situation is. They can look dog shit one night and then come back the next night and win. That's the way they've done it all year. And if I remember correctly, and I'm not sure what the scores were, but I think the Rangers beat Tampa more than Tampa beat them this year.
Oh, absolutely.
So that's enough confidence right there for them to understand they got a shot at these guys. And if I'm Tampa, Tampa knows it too. You know, this is a different animal. They're not playing Florida now. They're not playing whoever. They're playing a team that beat them on a consistent basis this year. So it's going to be a good series. I'm not going to complain about it one way or the other. I'm cheering Rangers. So I got Rangers and I got Edmonton. The only reason why I took Edmonton because I know you took Colorado. Okay?
Yeah.
So we have something to argue about.
Yeah.
Or debate, whatever. Although I think deep down, I'm probably like you are. I'm pulling for Colorado. It's their time.
Well, I don't care who comes out of West. I think the Rangers.
You know what the Ranger Dinosaur says? Rangers all the way.
Yeah.
Ranger Dinosaur says Rangers all the way.
I'm going to go with the Rangers.
What? Okay, I got to take Tampa now. No,
I'm going with the Rangers, and I'm going with Colorado. I just feel like the Rangers match well against the Tampa team, and after the resilience they've showed me in the last two series, I mean, they aren't afraid of anyone, and I think they match up well. I think that Tampa's the team. Look at this, Colorado scored again. I think they match up really well against Tampa. So
this is crazy watching this shit.
This is going to be insane. It looks like
I'm looking at my TV and it's like it's lighting up again like fireworks. Like what's going on? Is this that 9-6 game in Calgary again?
Yeah, I mean, every game that Edmonton's involved in, man. It's going to be interesting to see now, though. I think the Oilers, are going to bounce back a little bit here if they get a little momentum. But it looks like there's going to be a goaltending change. So,
are they bringing Andy Moog or Grant Fuhr back or what?
This 9 goals here. 9 goals.
Ranford? How about Bill Ranford or something like that? This is ridiculous. I mean, I expected a high scoring game, but not like this.
Yeah.
We haven't even got through 2 periods. They got 9 goals already.
Mike Smith just fanned on that. I don't know if this is deflected on the way in.
It got a piece. It got a piece of.
Oh, it did. Oh, yeah. Got so deflected. It wasn't Mike Smith's fault. Anyway,
it went off his body more than his stick, but don't matter. Than that, they don't draw pictures.
Yeah, they don't draw pictures on the score sheet. Katz used to tell me that all the time.
They don't.
I want to thank Barry. Barry's always.
Hey!
Barry's here. The China Wall's here. He wanted to say happy birthday to Lisa. He said he hoped you got her something nice for her birthday. And then I said, Barry, I mean, apparently one of these teams need the China Wall here. It looks like Edmonton could use you right now, Barry. But also want to say Beth's in the chat room too.
How's Beth doing?
See, here she is. She's where I need her to be, on the spot. Leon Draisaitl's number, Paul, is number 29. It's not.
You were just off of it by a little. You need another beer.
It's only doubled up. Oh my God! Thank you. She's the best. She's the best. She is the best.
Hey, she knows her stuff. She's got the updates and everything.
She's right there.
She updates a ton of news about hockey, NHL hockey. It's awesome.
Yep. She's very good. She's very good. Anyway, I got to get Beth a shirt, actually. And actually, I have, you know what I have that I need to send Barry one to?
I'm still getting a lot of people that want to know about the shirts. I don't know where to direct them to.
Okay. I told you. If you want a shirt, message me.
Paulie D.
Paulie D. Or you can message on the Instigators Hockey Show. Whatever's easier for you. Message me. I need your size. I'm going to need your address, and I will message you back with the exact price. Okay? So, and we'll get them shipped out to you. Next year's going to be a whole
Michael Mason.
Next year,
heard that.
Next year's going to be a whole new ball game. We're going with the company. and we're going to do all kinds of stuff. We're going to do hats. We're going to do everything. So it'll be fun. With that being said, we need to move on here. We keep getting back to so
This is why this is good, because it's like a barroom talk. It's not structured like some program where you got some director in the background telling you 2-1-0 go, all that shit.
so
You know?
So we both say Rangers. Kotze's going to be different. He's going to go with Edmonton, and I'm going to stick with Colorado.
Well,
But he knows Colorado's going to win. He just does that because he likes to do that.
I don't hate either team. That's why I'm doing that. You know.
Well, there's not a lot of articles to talk about, so we can talk statistics.
Sure.
Or, we can really lay it on the line here. And again, I think we talked about last week how the Edmonton Flames series I thought was so much fun to watch. And I think if Markstrom was better, I think there could have been a different outcome. Because I tell you what, that Flames team up front is pretty solid, man. They're a pretty solid.
I think it was a bad matchup for some reason.
Yeah.
Looking back, if I was Calgary, I probably wish they would have wished they could have got St. Louis.
Yeah.
In Edmonton.
Yeah.
St. Louis is not quite as fast as the Edmonton Oilers. That's the one thing that I think Calgary couldn't match was the speed part. They were bigger. They were bigger physically and in size, but the speed is what got them in the end. McDavid and his boys were just way too fast overall, and it hurt them. And with less than par goaltending from Markstrom, definitely hurt. You can't have that in the playoffs. Your goaltender, again, I stand by it. I've always said, and I'm standing by it. Your goaltender has to be the most consistent, best player game in, game out. Doesn't have to be the star every game, but he has to be the best player on average. If you're rating a player for every game, your goaltender's got to be a 7 or to 10 rating every game to win Stanley Cups. That's all there is to it. He can have a bad game or two somewhere along the way to win in the Stanley Cup, but he can't have 5 or 6. And Markstrom didn't play up to standards. Period. And Edmonton was just, Connor McDavid. He finally, him and Draisaitl, and they finally realized that their time is now, because they've been talking about leading, scoring all this crap year after year, blah blah blah, having coaches fired, having coaches come in, another coach fired, kind of like the Alex Ovechkin story a little bit, until it finally clicked. It's finally clicked with them, Yeah. They got to produce in the playoffs.
So, Cots, when think about it. You think about, and I got asked this question again today. I think we brushed on it a little bit last week. Think about Toronto. We talked about this. So many people, Toronto should have did this, and Toronto could have done that, and blah, 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 who they should have signed and who they could have signed. And Katz, in all honesty, you think about that series, compare it, the Lightning play Toronto, goes 7 games. There's a couple areas where, a post here or there changes the series, changes everything.
Yeah.
I don't feel like Toronto has to make a ton of changes. It's not like they got there. Now, you look at Florida, who gets swept. They got the best record in the league. They won the most points and win the President's Trophy and get swept away like they weren't even there. That's not what happened with Toronto. Toronto was in every game. Toronto took it to them. They lose in Game 7 by what? A goal? Come on.
Well, they had a goal taken away from them in the game. I think it was Game 6 too. So
it's not time to panic, and
there was a lot of bullshit going on about Tampa, and they're clutching and grabbing and getting away with it.
Right.
I told you about that discussions and they're getting away with it because they are the Stanley Cup champs. And, when you are the champs, you get away with that kind of crap. But Here's where I think the Leafs still need to improve. Unfortunately for them, they signed. Yeah, I got mine up. I got to go up and get another one pretty soon. They signed a couple of guys, to fill in that grinding, tough guy, make sure that everybody's safe on the ice. But they're getting up there in age, okay? So I think they need to replace some of the more physicality on that team with some younger guys. And I still think their defensemen as a core, they're not real physical. And I'll give you this with Tampa. Hedman hits when he needs to. Okay, Hedman's not a vicious guy, but he'll take you out when he wants to get a message across, and they take you out pretty hard. Chernak will do it too. Bogosian will do it too. This is the kind of defense that I'd like to see in Toronto. It can't be all stick handling and smooth skating. It's got to be someone who's got, gets in a beast mode, wants to really punish a guy when they need to. I'm not talking about doing it all the time, but you send a message when you finally get a guy cornered in your own zone who's a star in the other team. You let him know. Don't just rub him out. Don't just brush him off like many do today. That's what the Leafs need to improve. They're going to have problems though. They got problems coming up this summer with the. I believe with some of the players, like who to keep, who not to keep, cap money, and all that stuff. So, Leafs aren't far away. I mean, they made one big step this year, and again, I still think they should have beat Tampa, but they didn't. So, they got their own problems. Like I said, Shanahan's got the 5-year plan. He's going into his eighth or ninth year next year. So, and I got all the respect in the world for Brendan Shanahan as a hockey player, but the question's still out there when it comes to a president of running one of the most prestigious organizations the NHL has ever had. Yeah. I'm just being honest here.
A lot of money there, too.
Whoa. Money's not a problem.
Money's not a problem in Toronto. The cap is the problem.
I still think, you know what? I still think the cap's a pile of shit. Okay.
Yeah. I felt that way.
Tell me, you work for BMW, right? Tell me you're going to tell some guy, well, you can't have this car because, you make too much money.
Yeah. The total opposite. It's like you need this.
I got all the money in the world. I want to buy 10 cars. Nope, you can't do that because you're only allotted one. What the fuck is that all about? You know what I mean?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think the cap is bad business.
That's Gary Bettman. Listen, the only one that I can't I actually, you know what? This shit Nettie has taken precedence over my disdain for Gary Bettman. I think this guy, and I can't even use his first name. I'll never use his first name because it's disgusting that he has the same name as I do. Okay? Okay. This guy's a piece of shit.
You guys might be related somewhere.
He's a piece of shit, man.
But let's talk about the cap, though, seriously. Okay? So, when it comes to business, I'm not an expert on it, obviously, okay? I'm just some slug that played in the NHL, had a few bucks to the head, took a few beatings, gave a few beatings, all that shit, But I do know one thing, that all the biggest profitable businesses in the world are not limited as to what they can do.
Exactly.
With their money.
Exactly.
Sports all of a sudden in the modern day, the last 30 years, and it started with football, okay, and basketball before hockey, became cap friendly. Whatever that fucking means, okay?
Right.
Is it the New York Rangers or the Toronto Maple Leafs fault that you put a team in a fucking desert in Arizona?
Nope, it's not.
You know what I mean? Is it their fault?
That's bad business management. Exactly.
But really, or you put a team in Atlanta not once but twice? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I am wrong on this. Like, maybe it even Stevens the playing field. But
you're not wrong.
I always thought that, like, Like McDonald's don't give a shit what Burger King do, and Burger King don't give a shit what McDonald's do. They're going to try and outdo each other and use all the money they can.
Right.
And that's the part that I don't understand about pro sports today.
Me neither.
You know, if I'm in a big city where the cost is higher to run my team, why shouldn't I be able to use my money to make it as great as it can possibly be? It's not my problem that you're in like I said, in the desert and you can't get 8,800 people to the game. You know what I mean? It's not. Why is it my problem?
Right.
But they've all agreed on it somehow, some way. The NHL hierarchy, Gary Bettman and his cronies have got the owners to all agree to this stuff, and I just think it hurts. I think it hurts a lot of great cities.
Yeah. You know, I wouldn't. I can't argue your position, and I'm actually, you know, I'm on the same side. I just don't understand how ownership has gone this long in the direction that they've gone, and Gary Bettman has still got a job. And I don't care what anyone says. I know a little bit about business. I've had my own personal business. I work for a big company. You know, yeah, you know, no one's business plan. I love this one. No one's business plan. I've heard this several times. No one's business plan includes less ever. It's always about more. 10%, 15%. You could figure your margin. But no business plan moving forward should ever consider less, right? It should always be more. You should always be striving for better. I don't feel that it's kind of like if you're investing in a money market with a small amount of yield, then you know what you're going to get from that money market. If you take a higher risk and you invest in the market itself or a specific stock or a bunch of different stocks, then you take on a higher risk, and inside that risk, you're looking for a bigger reward. And the reason I bring up simple business plan is this. And it's got to be 25 years now, Bettman or more, right? Bettman's probably 30 years. He's probably close to 30 years in the NHL.
Yeah, probably. Okay? Yeah.
And I don't think that the NHL has progressed in America, especially, the way it could have. And that's my personal opinion. I think there's been a ton of mistakes. I think that he has changed the game so much that he's pushed some fans to a different avenue. And I don't think that we've talked about this before, Kotz. Do you really feel like there's rivalry anymore in the NHL? No. There's no hatred anymore. There's no spit in your face, piss on your grave. When I grew up in hockey, man, it was me and my best friend.
Yeah, but Paulie,
we had an altercation at a Ranger Islander game.
Okay? Yeah, that also has a lot to do with the money being paid today, too. Okay?
Sure.
I'm never going to be the one to deny these guys the money that they make because nobody forces them to sign that contract. Okay, first of all, okay, but when you were making hundreds of thousands compared to like multi-millions, it was a different story. There was a gradual hate for a team year after year after year because you realized that you were one step away from being out of a job when you're only making a couple $100,000 and your financial security is not there. Okay, for the future. When you're making multi-millions now, you guys are a little bit more buddy with each other on the ice. I don't give a shit what anybody says. You know what I mean? Hey, how's that pet mansion of yours in L.A.? How's that big cottage you got up there in Muskegon, Ontario? You know what I mean? These guys are like that today. That's the way they are because they're making so much money now that they never dreamed of that when they were growing up. And I don't begrudge them at all. Trust me, I don't begrudge them at all. Here's the problem. You and I went through this years ago. When Tampa Bay is winning Stanley Cups like they are,
Right.
I didn't see the advertising in the USA Today. Congratulations to the Stanley Cup winning champs.
Right.
I don't care what baseball does or football does or basketball. They got their own deal. You got to push this shit. You got to hit it on billboards. You got to hit it on everything. I told you years ago. Why isn't Steven Stamkos being talked about? When they win Stanley Cups or Kucherov or whatever. You know what I mean? Why aren't they on a mainstream newspaper right after they win a Stanley Cup? The NHL should take a full-page ad. Let everybody know that, hey, by the way, there is another sport in America.
Yeah.
They don't do that. They don't do shit like that. These are little things that turn into big things.
Sure.
Okay, as far as I'm concerned. But, getting back to the cap thing, if I was an owner right now in the NHL and I've drafted, groomed, interned, and turned a player into a superstar or close to a superstar, doesn't it suck to know that you got to lose him because you haven't got enough money to pay the fucking guy according to the cap? According to the cap, I can't pay this guy now. I've done everything I could to get him to this point, but now I have to make a decision between him and 3 other guys.
Yep. After you spent your resources, after you did everything you can do.
I do not begrudge these guys for the opportunity that they got it. That's the way it works. This is the rules. I get that part on the player side.
Yeah.
But boy, I'm sure there's been a lot of players that turned into free agents or were let go by teams that didn't want to leave.
Sure.
That had no choice because the other team wouldn't pay them even 80% of what other teams were going to get or give them more. You know what I mean? Would have stayed for like 20, 25% less than what they were offered somewhere else.
Right.
I'm sure that's happened.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Another goal.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to turn this shit off. I mean, watch a car show or something. That's a joke.
10 goals. Wow.
Goals.
Yeah. Colorado, boy.
You understand what I'm saying here, Paul. I know it's tough for certain teams to play with a cap. I know that. But you're the ones that agreed to this stuff, and this is what happens to you. I don't understand. Never have, never will.
Barry just made a comment. It's why he likes to watch the minors more. He's more involved in the minors because the guys seem more hungry, and it's not so much about.
There's a reason why though, Barry, because they're not where they're
not. Yeah.
Those guys that are in the minors, once they get into the NHL, sometimes turn into those guys that we're talking about. They all of a sudden what got them there, they don't do when they get there.
Right. Well, here's
that's it on the cap. I just wanted to bring that up. I mean, I'll never understand that in all sports. They do that in all sports now. And then you got to pay a luxury tax on top if you go over it.
Yeah. Let's talk Rangers game plan against the Lightning.
You start and I'm going to load up.
All right, we'll talk X's and O's.
I can hear you.
I know you can. So if I could be so if I'm going to tell you how I feel the Rangers win this series, I think there's 3 really key components here. Okay, I feel as if this series is going to boil down to the obvious goaltending, for one. I think Connor McDavid just scored. Surprise, surprise. It's 7-4. This game is not out of reach for Edmonton by any means. I'm just.
I know you're not.
They got a whole period.
This is not a word that all of a sudden the woke people want you to. This game's retarded.
Right. So, but getting back to the game plan and what I think obviously it comes down to goaltending. I said that. You got Shesterkin, who currently led the NHL in goals against average and all the big. and really has been fantastic for the Rangers, a big part of where they are. Then you look at Vasilevsky. Okay, this guy he's won a Vezina. He's been there. He's done that. The guy is a huge goaltender too. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, Beth, please, but I believe he's around 6'3",
Oh,
6'4".
he's a monster.
6'4". He's pushing 220. He's a big man in that net. So goaltending's big. But I really think this series, because these two teams are very similar in the way they like to play. They like to pass the puck. They love the European style. Let me pass the puck 8 million feet across the ice, and then
I'm doing the lurch from the Adams family.
Okay. And it drives some of us nuts. I think power play, special teams, penalty kill, goaltending. Power play, I think, is very big in this series, Cots. I think, like you said, obviously the power play goal is going to matter most. Is it the first goal? Is it the last goal? Is it the clutch goal? Absolutely. I think that matters huge inside this series. And obviously the penalty kill. Who's going to have the better penalty kill to take away the chance and goaltending? I think those three features are what make and break this series.
Well, I totally agree with everything you just said there. I think it's very important for the Rangers, obviously, to stay out of the box. That's one thing I don't want them to do, is take silly penalties, stupid penalties. But I also want them to realize, okay, when you're playing a goaltender like Vasilevsky, and I've watched him enough, okay, make him make the saves that he doesn't want to make. Okay, don't let him make the easy ones where you shoot it right in his gut. Okay, keep the shots low so there's rebounds. But understand that if your line is out there, okay, for example, the kid line, okay, they should be talking to themselves. Look, when I get an opportunity, I'm going to shoot the puck low. I want to make a rebound. If he makes a save, I want a rebound so he's not able to grab it with his glove. So that means you two other guys better get your ass there for the rebound.
Right.
Stuff like that. These are the little things that they got to learn. Listen, I know the game inside out just because I couldn't do it as a player. I was good enough to make the NHL. Doesn't mean I could do what I'm just discussing. Okay.
Right.
No, I'm just saying. I mean, that's just the way it was.
Well, you had a long career.
But I understand the game, period. Okay. And you got a big, monstrous goalie. Don't try to beat him high every time because he's just too big.
Right.
It's easy for a guy 6'3" to go like this, Paulie. Back in the day when it was a 5'10" goalie, it wasn't that easy.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So keep the shots low. And I'm just giving you the little shit that's important. When you are coming down on the wings and you do got a shot, don't try to pick the far corner every time, because if you pick the far corner and you miss the net, guess what? It goes around the boards, goes all the way out. All three of you guys are caught now. These are the little things I'm trying to get across, okay?
I hate that.
Oh, it just drives me nuts if you're trying to be. Listen, if you're one-on-one, I get it, because that means you got guys back. You're trying to get cute, trying to pick that far corner. I get that. But don't do that when you got guys going over the net or defensemen pinching in, okay? Can't do that shit. Rangers just got to, you know what they got to do, Paul? They basically just got to be what they've been all year. You need your top guys to contribute like they have on a consistent basis. It's nice to see Kreider jump up last night and do what he did all year. Get your support from the third and fourth lines like you've been getting. I think it's important. It's important to make the hit when you get a chance to make the hit. Don't go looking for the hit. Get out of control.
Yeah.
The way things are today, you can make it like the hit on Ryan Reeves hit last night, and they called a penalty on it, was an absolute fucking joke.
Crap, trash.
You know what I mean? Another one of those bullshit NHL calls. Okay, but you got to be wary of that shit. And it goes back to what I'm saying. You got to be careful about what you do now because of the way the NHL calls stuff.
Right.
Take the hit when you got it. Don't overgo it to get the hit, because you're going to get called for a penalty. I think the Rangers got to play their game, Paulie. Plain simple. Shesterkin's got to be Shesterkin. Clear the lanes. When Tampa's shooting, like they did last night. They did a great job last night. Let Shesterkin see most of the shots. I don't care if you get 900 shots on a goal. If he sees everything, he's going to stop it.
Right.
And that's what they did last night. When D'Angelo scored on the power play, he was screaming.
Yep.
Okay? But other than that, the Rangers did a fantastic job of blocking shots. This is crunch time now. You're one round away from a Stanley Cup. And I'm just gonna say this one time to the players on that team that have never tasted this kind of like playoff like excitement before. You better fucking enjoy it and take advantage of it, because I thought I was going to get a ton of it in my day.
Right.
The first year we were one round away from going to the Stanley Cup when I was a New York Ranger. Guess what happened after that, big boy? Never came closer than that my first year in the next 9 years. So take advantage of this situation. Everybody should be primed. Everybody should be pumped and ready to go. And play the Ranger way. And if it were, that's all you can ask for. Tampa's obviously a great hockey club. I'm not going to take anything away from it, but I think the Rangers got a real good chance at these guys. There's a reason why the Rangers got home ice. They were a little better than Tampa was all year. Just a little.
Yep.
So, I don't know what you think. What do you think about it, big boy?
Yeah, I just want to give everyone a cute tidbit from Beth Penny.
Okay.
She was actually the head of off-ice officials in the ECHL
Who's that?
for the Dayton Bombers.
Who's that?
Beth.
That is.
Beth was.
Oh, so she really knows her shit.
She used to work for the ECHL team that Darren Langdon played for.
Okay.
The Dayton Bombers.
Dayton used to be in the IHL before I played in the IHL back in the 70s.
I was head of the off-ice officials, she was.
Wow.
So, little tidbit about our Beth Penny. She's no one to be messing with. She knows her stuff. Now, yeah, you know what? I agree. I think the Rangers play their game. I think that they've had Tampa's number all year long. I think that's huge. I think they match up very well. Like I said, the three components that I think rule in this game.
I didn't get into those because my obvious is about your three. I agree with you.
Absolutely.
I want you, if you're going to do the penalty kill, make sure you kill at the right time. Power play, score at the right time.
And goaltending, make the save. Make the big save at the right time. That game-changing saves is huge inside this series. Huge. Here is a good point, and they haven't discussed it, but they've had a ton of time off too. The Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't think Braden Point's coming back, and I don't think he's coming back at all. To be honest with you, I mean he didn't play in the last series. I think he was hurt. They've had 9 days off, and probably it's got to be the better part of 15 days that this guy's not healed up and back. I think he has a serious MCL or a lower body injury that he's not coming back. That's big. He's a very big part of their offense. He's very, very fast, and he's got the golden hands. So him not being in the series is big for the New York Rangers. I think Kreider and Zibanejad, obviously, as they go, the New York Rangers go. I think a lot of what people are not gonna what they don't. I think a big part of this is, like you said, I think the kid line makes a big difference in the series, man. They eat up a good amount of time. Okay, they give the big players rest. They're good defensively. And they've been creating opportunity. They're tenacious on the forecheck. Chris Lafreniere has grown as a player. I've watched him grow. I know we've talked about it. He's taken on a role for this team right now.
The more ice time he gets, the more confidence he gets, the more he understands. Okay, I've said this all along. Okay, the problem with guys like Kakko and Lafreniere and all the top draft choices is they're coming to a team that's not a bottom feeder. And for you to get your ice time, you got to dethrone the top 3, 4, 5, 6 guys.
Right.
Well, they haven't got to that level yet.
Right.
And that's the way it goes. So you have to make do with the ice time you're getting. They're doing a great job. I'll agree with you. The kid line's doing great, including your favorite like closet love child there, Heedle. Okay, I mean you love the guy. I'm happy that things are going. I'll be honest with you, I'm happy with him right now.
Yeah.
I still think he's got a lot to prove to me, personally.
I know. He has a lot to prove. He's
been in the league 5 years. It's about time, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, he's
And
22
he's
years
doing,
old.
he's doing it now. Okay, he's doing it now. But we'll see how he does now when it gets a little tougher with a Tampa team.
So I think, and again, I'm going to say this, that I think that line is really a big part of this series for the New York Rangers. I got to tell you, I mean, you look up and down the lineup for Tampa Bay, you got Stamkos, Kucherov, you're talking about Palat, talking about Killorn, you're talking about Anthony Cirelli Anthony Cirelli. They have some players, so it's going to be important. It doesn't seem like a lot likes to do a lot of matching. So it'd be interesting to see how the lines get matched up in this series.
Well, I think you're going to see a little bit of that tomorrow night because he has.
Yeah, I think yes, and I think it's very, very important for the Rangers to match well against.
You're onto something about the kid line too. Here's what they've done. Okay, since probably middle of the Pittsburgh series, or actually when they started putting them together for this series, really. But if you take a look at their shifts and got a videotape of all of them, I would bet right now that at least 60-70% of the time the puck was on the other side of the ice with those guys on the ice. And what that does, now, again, these are the little things that people don't quite get. They don't think it's that important, but I think it is. If the puck's on the other side of the ice majority of the time when they're on the ice, that means the defense that are back there are getting a little breather. Okay, and the guys that are sitting on the bench are getting a little bit of a breather too. In other words, your number one, number two set of defensemen are getting breathing. They're getting time to relax a little bit here instead of having to hustle in their own zone and work the boards and go back and forth from the front of the net. I agree. They've caused a lot of shit for Carolina. Okay, cycling the puck, moving in front of the net, getting shots on goal, Hedl scoring. Lafreniere, making plays. Kako, okay, he might not be producing on the offensive side, but you know what? He's part of it too. It's so important to understand that when your third and fourth lines are out there, they're not just out there for the sake of being out there. They got to do something that alleviates the pressure from the top two lines. In other words, keep the puck in their zone, make them work a little bit. By the time the other guys get out, things might be a little bit easier for them. These are the little things that people don't understand, but I agree with it. I think the best is yet to come from those guys in this playoffs. To be honest with you, I think you're going to see them do well.
I think
they're going to be more productive offensively in this series than they were in the last. How's that?
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Now, I want to bring up another player because you and I, both on and off the podcast, had spoken about our concerns. I think Panarin is getting it, Katz. I think he's getting it a little bit more. The last two games against Carolina, he showed me a lot more than what he showed in the first, 7 to 10 games in the two series. Because I was actually concerned. I'm like, Panarin is really starting to scare me with his decision making. He's always looking to make that big pass, and sometimes, in the last game, I didn't really see that. I saw him go to the net, take it to the net, and create things, and that's how he can be very effective. His creativity is there. It's just the amount of just overpassing, being overzealous, and not making the right decisions, especially at the right times with the puck. And his puck care was I call it puck care being considerate of the puck, realizing what you need to do with the puck at all times is very important in this game. And as in a coach's mentality, it's, you got to care for the puck. Make the simple play when the simple play is there. Make the exotic play when the exotic play is a definite. And all else fails, shoot the fucking puck. Make the goalie make a stop. Get a face off. Let's start again. It's start and stop if you have to be, especially against a team like Carolina. But to take stupid shots that miss the net, that go all the way around, and keep it. When you're up 3 goals and it's mid in the second period, you don't need to create a scoring chance. Go to the net with the puck. Make the guy stop the puck. Always go to the net. It's like I don't get the mentality. Why are we passing it through 3 people when we got a 2-3 goal lead? You don't need the pretty play right now. What you need is the direct effect of what this game is. Keep it simple. Go to the net. Make the goalie make a stop. Period. The end. Make him make a stop. Maybe you get a rebound. You get a trash goal. Stop looking for everything to be pretty and keep it simple.
Well, that I'm going to give you the I'm going to show my age here. A lot of people won't understand very well, but Sybil, the different personalities. I'm going to give you the Sybil answer here. I think during the season, people understand that Panarin's such a creative person on the ice. He's him and Fox are very similar. Okay, when they have the puck in a clean situation, it's tough to get the puck off.
Yeah.
Okay, both of them. And they both work very well in a small area. Fox does it in his own zone when he's got it clean, no pressure, blah, blah, blah. And a guy comes to him, he makes him look silly 9 times out of 10. Okay? Yeah. Panarin gains the blue line. He always stops, and that defenseman don't know what to do. But during the season, you kind of like let that slide. This is my Sybil part of it. The one side is you let that slide because it's regular season. And when he screws up in the regular season, people go, it's okay because he still does this, does that. Well, in the playoffs, it's more magnified. Now, it's the other side of it. It's way more magnified when he makes a mistake. People are groaning and grunting and like, oh, God, what's he doing that for? I think Panarin is still a fantastic hockey player, and he always will be for the New York Rangers. You don't lead the team in scoring by being a bum, okay?
Right.
I think what happens with a guy like him is he's probably heard, that he doesn't perform well in playoffs. Because that's the label on him, Paulie, whether you want to hear it or not, Ranger fans. That's the label. And I think the pressure and the combination of being in the playoffs and being in a big city like New York and being one of the highest paid players in the league, it's concerning to him. And he wants to do well.
Yeah.
I think I totally agree with you yesterday. He did make a couple of Panarin dumb plays. I'll call it that. But you know what? I expect that from him. I expect that from him because you know what? He is trying to be creative. And for this team to win, you got to have him playing well.
Yeah.
He had a good game last night.
Yeah.
Maybe not on the scoreboard, but he had a good game last night. And I think with him and Zibanejad and Kreider, those are your top 3 guys that have to lead. Then you got your second tier guys. They got to follow. Then you got the unknown underneath the kid line, this line, that line. You know what I mean? These players, your cops and stuff like that. It's all up to them to be a cohesive unit. And Panarin just has to understand that it's so much more magnified in the playoffs when you do make a mistake. Because it is. It's playoff hockey now. We're talking like fuck the regular season. Your stats don't mean shit now. Your wins and losses mean nothing. Your goaltending goals against average means fucking absolutely nothing, Paulie. This is playoff hockey now. Nobody gives a shit. Exactly. Nobody gives a shit anymore. They care about what you do now. I think you're going to see him play well in this series. I think they got a lot of confidence. I'm just being honest with you right now. You don't come back from the 3-1 against Pittsburgh, okay, regardless of all the excuses that Pittsburgh had and that idiot on TNT was talking about.
Yeah.
You don't beat a Carolina team in a 7-game series. And winning a 7th game at home when you hadn't lost without having confidence. This team has confidence in itself. Even though there's been a lot, I wrote it in my piece, a lot of ups and downs, Paulie, on Facebook. I wrote that. There's been a lot of ups and downs, a lot of criticism of every guy, this guy, that guy. They have a confidence. They have a quiet confidence in themselves. I think Panarin's one of them. He has confidence in himself. He knows what the right play is. He just gets a little too cute once in a while. But you know what? He has that ability to be cute. How many guys can say that?
Right.
How many guys can actually say that they can do what he does?
Right.
Handle the puck the way he does. When the passes work, boy, it looks great, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How many guys on the Rangers can actually do that?
Right.
So it's a double-edged sword. It's a symbol type thing. I like what I see out of these guys right now. Tomorrow's a very important game. Let's call it what it is.
I do. I believe that.
Get a win right off the bat. Let Tampa know that, you know what? Yeah, we played more games than you. We're supposed to be the tired team. We're supposed to be the team that's been overworked. But fuck you. Here's your fuck you moment. You're in for a series. Let them know. That's my theory on Panarin. I got no problem with him right now. Yeah.
New York, they go in Madison Square Garden, game 1. I mean, I could set the stage. I've been there enough times. The Garden's nuts. It's as crazy as it's going to be. The fans are excited. It's a younger team. They've been through it now because they've played 14 games. Like 7 games.
Paulie, it's so much different today for these guys. These guys have every
resource,
every opportunity, every avenue to make them feel rested, prepared, sharp, compared to what was in our day. They don't travel like we did. They travel in absolute comfort.
Yeah.
So giving me this excuse about, we have to travel. Well, you know what? You traveled in a luxury fucking jet. Not a fucking pile of shit like we did back in the day where we had to sit with people, normal people. Okay?
You're right.
You know what I'm trying to say? So they got no excuse for that part. And again, I think I've always said this, and I'll stand by it. I'll eat my words when I have to. It would be nice if you had an easy round in the series. Unfortunately for the Rangers, they haven't.
Game 1 here. I'm trying to set the stage now.
Yeah.
Game 1 here. The Garden's on fire. The Rangers just come off a big emotional series, okay?
Well, they've had a habit of being pretty whatever on their first game back from a road trip, too. Not very good early.
Right. Well, here's where I'm going with this.
I know where you're going.
You got a Tampa team that hasn't played in an eternity, it seems like, okay?
Yeah.
First period, Chris. How do you feel like the first period is huge for the Rangers to come out hot and heavy, hopefully score a goal, possibly 2, to really make a statement on and just grab this game as quick as they possibly can, like a thief in the night? I
think
I can't imagine Tampa having the legs in the first period, in the first 10 minutes of period.
Well, here's the problem here. Tampa has had a lot of time off. Okay? A lot of time off. And the positive of that is anybody who's got nicks and like injuries that were they weren't 100%, were still playing, they're all healed up.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the positive part. The negative part is some guys don't give a shit about how much time they have off. They'll still play like they did, like it was yesterday. But some guys don't.
Right.
Some guys need to continue that rhythm day in, day out. So for the Rangers, I would be happy if it's 0-0 after the first period. I would be.
Yeah.
I'd be happy if it was 0-0 after the first period because that would mean to me that Tampa wasn't able to come in and score and dominate right off the bat. And the Rangers were good enough defensively to let them know that, this isn't going to be easy for you boys down there in Lightningville. You guys think it's going to be easy like everybody. See, here's the problem, Paulie, and you know this is the truth, guys. You know this is the truth. And every Ranger fan knows the truth. Anybody that's not a Ranger fan right now automatically thinks Tampa's going to roll right over the Rangers. I know. I've got messages from people telling me they're going to roll right over the Rangers. And I'm like, I don't think so. I don't think they're going to roll.
No, there's no rolling.
I'm right. All the prognosticators and everything else are saying no matter what, it's an automatic with Tampa. Well, it was an automatic. The Rangers not making the playoffs either this year, too, with these guys. In fact, they weren't going to come close to make the playoffs. They're going to be like in the lower half. So, I don't know. I think the Rangers are prepared for this. I think Tampa's going to be prepared for this, and I think it's going to go 7 games. I do. I think it'll go 7 games.
Well, it's tomorrow night, and I'm pretty jacked up. I probably will be at Sunday's game here in Tampa.
Good for you. Good for you.
I'm trying to attend both games here.
Take advantage of it, man. If you got the opportunity to go, go.
Yeah,
I have the opportunity to go, but I kind of like watching the games at home.
Yeah.
There's nobody in my TV room with me. That's the best way to watch a sport.
Yeah, I don't mind that either. I
don't need any outside talking, I
don't disagree. And if it's my team, I like to be at home watching the game. If it's not my team, I like to be at the event. So I'll be honest with you.
You're not paying us 100% attention to it.
Yeah. So Sunday, I more than likely will get tickets to go. I get comped a bunch of games. Obviously, you know that. So I'll be there. But I tell you, being in Tampa, it's hard. The fans here this is a big bandwagon city in every sport. So they're all gung ho for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and being a New York Ranger fan, I think here's the other thing: Ranger fans are going to turn up Sunday night.
That's part of it too, Paulie. That's part of it too. Is the Rangers have to do something in the first period to get the Ranger fans absolutely riled and ready for the whole game.
Right.
That's important. I mean, everybody says it really doesn't matter these days, and they're probably right, for the most part. But it's always nice to know that your fans are ready to go as well as the team. It's important. It's important to hear that, if you're a Ranger fan. Let's hope it boils down to this, Paulie, that they let the teams play. They don't let any bullshit calls, where either side, I'll admit it, either side can complain about.
I really hope.
And I'd like to, this is the one, I did want to talk about this because I wrote it down on my little sheet here. And I want, these so-called ex-guys that I know, like Don Koharski. I don't know much about Jackson. I don't know if he was around when I played. But don't be afraid to step outside the box and stop, benefiting the NHL on their calls. I mean, some of the calls that you guys have agreed with or disagreed with, they're so bullshit. I mean, everybody's got eyes. You're not the only ones looking at it. So don't be afraid to make the right call once in a while, like go against the NHL. When they make a shit call on the ice, call it. Don't be afraid. Like tonight, to me, that goal they scored tonight, that puck was over the line.
Yeah. 7-5 with 16:32 left, by the way.
Listen, this is a football game. This ain't anymore.
Insane. That's so much fun.
It's like final score 10-7 Edmonton. They kick a field goal to win.
Exactly. It's insane. It's insanity.
This is nuts.
Here's the thing, too. You gotta.
I'm shocked at Colorado, giving up this many goals.
Excuse me, I was just gonna say that.
And
Look
listen,
at the team that's letting up 5 goals.
I want people to understand this, okay? That are watching and will watch on a replay or whatever. Paulie actually works for a living, so that's why he's yawning. Okay. You know what I work on? I work on staying up. I work on staying up till on the average 2, 3 in the morning watching TV. Then I work on trying to get up by noon.
I tried to hide that. I guess you called it, huh? So 7-5 with 16 and a half minutes left, man.
This is nuts.
Colorado letting up 5 goals like that, though. That's crazy, too, So, listen, tomorrow night's big game. I'm just going to state this. I really feel like I think it's huge. I think it'll be huge if the Rangers can score the first goal in the first period. Take game 1. I think we both agree that taking game 1 is really going to make a statement here. And you want to solidify home ice here, and the whole reason, Tampa's only going to play 3 games away. So, Tampa only has 3 games at home. So,
it didn't matter in the Pittsburgh series, did it?
Right. It needs the Rangers need to take this. They need to take this. So
yeah, I think a game 1 win would go a long way to putting some extra confidence in the New York Rangers' minds, the players, the team, the coaching staff. But I also think it would put a little more, pressure on the Lightning too.
Yeah.
We can't screw up anymore. You can't screw up anymore if you lose that first game.
Yeah.
Because this is like I said, this is not the Toronto Maple Leafs. The Leafs probably have a better offense than the Rangers do overall. I'm not going to argue that. But they don't have a defense in the New York Rangers. Period. They don't have the goaltending. They don't have the goals against. They don't have the defense the Rangers have. So.
Yeah, Rangers actually play a decent team defense, man. They collapse well. So we'll see. We'll see.
And again, we always talk about, you kind of do a little more than me, and I understand that. The analytics part. I don't give a shit how many shots on goal you got.
How many goals you score? So I just want to say this before I'm going to get ready to close up here.
Put up Bison Head again.
I was going to do that. I just don't want to give this guy a fucking second that he doesn't deserve because he just makes me sick to my
Listen, I'm going to say the last thing I'm going to say on tonight's show about him is, listen, I get it. Here's a guy that was good enough to make the NHL, so I give him kudos to that. Played in the NHL. A lot of guys didn't. Found his little niche, with Ray Whitney there and their little collaboration with Spit and Chicklets and their Pink Whitney. And that's all good, Paulie. That's all good. But being a complete asinine and ripping fans, go ahead, rip Paulie D, rip Chris Katsopoulos. Go ahead, rip anybody on the New York Ranger individually. Okay? But when you rip on the fans, that proves to me you're just one complete asshole.
Yep.
You should have a shirt with AH on it. When people ask him what it says, that means I'm an asshole. That's what he should have. Okay? You don't rip on the fans. You just don't. Not like that. Not the way he did it. And all that is to me is sour fucking grapes. You can go kiss my ass. I hope exactly. That's what I think.
Really?
And then TNT and the NHL thinks it's okay for him to go on a regular broadcast.
Shitting lipstick.
I wonder. See, here's the thing about the wokeism in this country right now. I wonder what have these people from TNT and the NHL seen his stuff on the side?
Nope. I'm gonna share it tomorrow.
You and I are not looking for a TNT job. We're not looking for any of that kind of crap. We're just telling facts are facts. I don't plan on doing anything else but this when it comes to broadcasting anything anymore.
Right.
I can give two shits about it all.
Right.
Okay? I love doing this because we get to talk the way people want to hear it when you're sitting in a bar watching a game. Whether it's a baseball game, whether it's a football game, whether it's a basketball game, for us it's hockey.
Right.
This is the way the people talk in the bar, the way we do it. Not some, cozy bullshit that you see on TV. Okay? And then this guy goes on his little Twitter bullshit there and does shit like that. Fuck him. And I'm not afraid of you either, big boy. I may be 63 years old, but I'm not afraid of your fucking shit. Trust me. I'm just letting you know right now.
Oh, my God. Fuck him. Oh, my God. That's hilarious. So, listen. I am going to post it tomorrow. I'm going to put it on the Instigators show. I want Ranger fans to look at this and eat it up. I think the thing that bothers me the most, how this piece of shit could sit at a panel with guys like Wayne Gretzky, Anson.
Listen, Paul, I give him kudos. He did make a name for himself. You got to give him credit for that part, okay?
Yeah, I give him nothing. He can go
all right, whatever. But I do. I give him a little bit of credit, okay?
When you call the Rangers Fugozis.
Well, that's the part that gets me riled up too.
The fans Fugozis.
You step over the line. He stepped over the fucking line. He's a fucking jerk. Okay?
He's a piece of shit. Anyway, I'm done with that. I'm going to end it with this. 7-5 here, Colorado, Edmonton. This series is going to be so much fun to watch. But I tell you, whoever comes out of here is scary because you can tell these two teams score at will, and it's insanity. The next series, the Rangers and the Lightning, these are two teams that could score well too. They can put the puck in the net, and have proved that all year long.
But they won't.
But
they won't.
Yeah, they're definitely more defensive with two of the best goalies in the world.
If there's a 7-5 game
with 12 and a half minutes left.
In a Ranger game with Tampa?
Oh, boy.
I'll make you wear Paul piss in that jersey.
Nope. Never happening. But I will say, being that he hates Shesterkin so much, he's got more points than you, bitch boy. And he's a fucking goaltender. Holy shit. You suck as an NHL player.
He can't use anything against me. I had 140-something points in less than 500 games, so kiss my ass, too. 47 goals.
Yeah.
How many did you get?
So, listen. Big game tomorrow night. Rangers need to take game one. I think it's huge. Actually, be great if they could just sweep the two home games. Really make
I don't think that's going to happen. I think both teams are going to win somewhere at home.
Yeah, well, I don't see the Rangers take the first two, and then But here's the thing. I'm not sure next show next week is going to be difficult. We'll figure out because
I won't be back till Monday.
You're going away.
Yeah, I won't be back till Monday. So we're going to do anything. It'll be Tuesday. It'll be Tuesday.
Yeah, we're looking at a Tuesday broadcast of next week, Tuesday or Wednesday.
Unless a Ranger game falls that night.
Exactly. With that being said,
I just want to say this before we go too. T-shirts. Okay, I know Paulie's discussed it tonight. Said whatever. I'm going to get Paulie to send something to my page. Get in contact with Paulie, but post something. Here's what you do. Everybody wants T-shirts. I know there's a lot of people bugging me. I've kind of directed them to you, okay? But maybe they haven't, okay? But I'll get you to post something on my page about T-shirts, and then I'll coordinate whatever I can from there to there because these are the best. Look at these things, people. Come on, look at that. Are you kidding me? That's my son's right there. My son designed that. That's fucking awesome. And I know you want one. And Barry, I hope yours fits like a glove.
I'm going to actually sit, Barry, I have a present for you. And Beth, I have one for you too. I actually have the original shirts too. I have 2 left. They're both a large. That's why I didn't send one to Chris, because Chris needs a little bit bigger. But if Barry, if you want to put one up at the rink, and then Beth, I'm going to send you one. They're the original Instigators. Cody's design in the front. They're black, but on the back, it's the Blog Talk show. So it's the originals. And I have one that I'm keeping.
Ooh, what's that up there? You just scratched up there. What kind of tattoo you got there, boy?
Jeez, I just had it in.
Oh, I've never seen that before. What is that?
That's memory of my pop.
All right, cool, man.
Says Dad.
9 times out of 10, you're supposed to have an arm to put one of those on, right?
I used to. Oh, man. This guy's got jokes. I got to go to bed, dude.
All right, man.
Hey, Brooklyn style there, Bizinetsky.
Yeah, listen, I got my money on you.
I'll kick his fucking ass. Dude.
I got my money on you. Trust me.
I'll kick his fucking ass.
You don't mess with Brooklynites, man.
Anyway, I'm excited for the Rangers.
Hey, you know what else Bissonette doesn't have? He doesn't have an action figure of me either. Look.
I love the bobbleheads, my favorite. Actually,
it's not a bobblehead, though.
Wait, I got it. I'll be right back.
Anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed the show today. We talk about obviously the Rangers the most. We enjoy ourselves. We have a few cocktails. It's more like bar talk. I'm tired of all these, podcasts where it's straight up and all that shit. This is the way people want to hear it, as far as I'm concerned. And this is the way I'd want to hear it if I was in a bar. You know what I mean? Listen to guys talk about the game as it's going, or the topic we're talking about. Got a lot of good things going here with Paulie D and I hope, like I said, in the end that you guys do. Oh, look at that! Who is that guy? That's awesome.
I can't. So I have this saved.
I never looked better.
Look at that! You see the mask in the background behind you. You get
there it is. There it is.
Signed by my buddy Chris Kotsopoulos.
Why isn't that framed and put up yet?
It is. That's exactly why I have it. So it's still rolled up in the original.
I got a bunch of those for sale if anybody's interested too.
So I got this. It's getting framed and getting put in the studio. It's going to be on one of my sides when we start doing our podcast next year.
Well, a good friend of mine, I'm trying to find his name right now, that he drew that for me. He put that together. Don Kunkel is his name. He's an artist, a comic book artist. He's down in Tennessee right now. He did that, and that is just unbelievable. Like, I thought that was one of the best things I've ever had done for me. And he made me a bunch of copies. I've been selling them periodically to people, and I will sign it any way you want. I have a bunch of them. Trust me. If you want any, well, that'll go up. That'll go up with the rest of the Instigator stuff when we get it.
Yeah.
This is the best right here. This is the best right here. Look at this thing, people.
I love it.
Can you tell me that, it's pretty plain, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, I love it. It's classic.
Puck to the head, you know what I mean?
Yeah, with the
kind of got the Jerry Cheever's face mask.
Yeah, the blood. That's the Instigators is dripping right there. You gotta love it. It's like blood. It's like you got a leak. Anyway, we digress as the hours go by and I get tireder.
No, I know.
7-5. Let's go Rangers.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen, I posted something today that is very near and dear to me. I talk about being more than a fan, and the whole reason why I do this show. I went to broadcasting school. Patsy and I have been doing this show for so long. We had one of the biggest blog talk programs on Blog Talk Radio. But I wrote an article. I wrote a small piece today talking about More Than a Fan. It's my upbringing in the game, and how the game of hockey was so much more than a game or a sport or a team, but it was a bonding time with family. We used to sit in front of the TV and watch hockey games. And my dad is no longer with us, and it's an emotional thing for me at times because my father lived and died a New York Ranger fan and never saw a Stanley Cup. And I tell that story for a reason. And I say it's being more than a fan because to watch hockey in the way that I do and to have done what I've done in broadcasting with one of my best friends, Chris Katsopoulos, and interviewed with Chris's help with some of my favorite players as a young man growing up, guys like Barry Beck and Nick Fatiou. You might not even know who they are, but they were legends to me. These guys were the players that I watched and loved. As some players, some fans look at like Panarin and Kreider and things like that. These guys were and I had the honor and the privilege to interview them and speak to them on a professional level about the game. But more importantly, my whole point is this: the game of hockey for me and my family has always been much more than just a team and just a game. It was a bonding experience for my father and my brother and myself and my friends. My friends would come over and they'd watch games with us, and whether they were rooting for the Rangers or not, it was those things. So I wrote a little piece just to tell people of how I am with the game and how important it means and where we are today with the show. How exciting it is to sit here and be one, and Chris being one of my best friends in the world. We talk more off, than on. And if we don't talk for 5 days, nothing changes. He's always one of my best friends, really. And that's exciting. It's good stuff. Chris is a good man. He's got a big heart, and I couldn't imagine doing the show anywhere near with anybody else like Chris. So
You know what, Paul? What you just described there is what I think a lot of people have with the game of hockey, and you couldn't have said it any better. It's a family thing.
Yeah,
It always will be. And some punk Paulie D got in contact with me a long time ago. And I'm not, listen, I'll admit it. I'm not the easiest guy in the world to get along with. I'm a bit of a prick. I'll admit it. I'm not. You know me well enough now. I'll say what I say, think what I say, and if you don't like it, too fucking bad. That's just the way I am. But if I'm still talking to you, that means I like you. And you're a good man. You've I don't know how to say it. You just somehow clicked. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
I think you're like me, but maybe not as boisterous.
I'm a refined version of Chris.
I'm not as crude as I am. But you're a lot like me, and you do know the game of hockey well enough. And obviously, you learned your lessons through your dad and your brother and all that stuff. But you know what? You're no different than a lot of people. That's what hockey's all about. That's what brings the passion to the fans of the game of hockey. Yeah. Whether you're a Ranger fan or a Tampa fan or a Toronto fan, whatever. It's the same thing growing up in Canada. Hockey's number one up there.
Yeah.
And it's the same shit with every family up there. It's the same and more down here.
Yeah.
In the United States. We do. We need more.
Yep. I couldn't agree more. All right. Well, we love you guys. We appreciate you.
Baby.
Make sure. Wow, it's 7-6, by the way, with 7 minutes left.
That Edmonton pick's looking pretty good now. No, I'm just kidding.
It is. This is insanity. But make sure you subscribe. Please share this with your friends. We need all the support we can get. Get everybody on the Instigator page on Facebook. Make sure you subscribe to and like our page on YouTube.
Yes.
And we'll see you next week, probably around Wednesday. Tuesday
T-shirts,
or Wednesday next week.
prints, everything. My print T-shirts are more important right now. They're the best looking T-shirts, period, people. So
come get some T-shirts.
figure out a way how to get in contact. One of the two.
And make sure you all kick Bisonetti in his balls.
Yeah, like fuck him. Like,
Good night. Oh, I love it.